So then Guerdy's like saying this is low class, the lowest of low class. This is all because of Martina. So now I'm starting to think, Julia said, don't you get involved in my family, right? And then Guerdy throws out, oh, just like you had a facelift when Martina was in New York having chemo. Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode number 3, Worst Wedding Ever.
I could hear Marysol saying it.
I know. So today's Marysol's wedding, Marysol and Steve's wedding day. You know, that's how the episode starts. But then we see 3 days earlier, Larsa's talking to Preston about how proud she is of him. We see Adriana at the beach with, I can't pronounce his name. Is it Amari? I don't know. Her French. Amari.
He did not look interested at all when she took her top down.
He looked disgusted. I thought he looked disgusted.
He did.
Right?
Like, even he, I think, was thinking, like, you're doing too much.
Yes.
You're doing too much, Adriana.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get that whole relationship thing. I think that that's what it is with Adriana. Everything she does is too much.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like a genuine relationship, right? But none of her relationship, even Frederick, even when she,
when she was married.
Yeah.
I don't feel like any of the relationships with the other women are genuine either at this point.
No, but I do think Marysol and Steve, though.
No, I'm talking about Adriana's relationship with the other women.
With the other women. Oh,
yes,
okay. I thought you meant like their relationship with their husbands.
No.
Oh, because Guerdy's solid too.
No. I was just referring to Adriana with the other women. No. For
sure. She's
think,
just a phony baloney.
Yeah, I think everything about her is phony. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see Martina's making banana bread for the boys, and Julia keeps talking to her, so she keeps messing up the recipe. Then we see Alexia and Frankie go to Sea Spice because she wants to plan the surprise wedding celebration for Marysol and Steve, which I thought was so nice.
Yeah.
Except for when she goes on to say that that's where she met Todd and that, she picks this place. I mean, come on, Alexia.
So weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I did look up that place online because when she was walking through it, I was like, this place looks really cool.
It looked like you were on a yacht.
It did. Crazy expensive. Crazy.
Really?
But you know what they do have? They have this sunset hour, which is would be affordable, like a happy hour, but sunset hour. So I think if we ever get down to Miami, we should go there for the sunset hour.
Which would be a super fun trip.
It would be a fun trip to go there for the sunset hour because it looked fabulous, this place.
Yeah. I didn't know Miami had a big Cuban presence.
Oh my God, yes.
Listen, I live in a bubble. Now I do from watching Real Housewives of Miami, but before Eric and I got married, we took a trip to Miami. So what was it, 2001, the summer of 2001, before 9/11, the June.
Yep.
Because we got married in November of 2001. Everywhere we ate, we had the most amazing Cuban food. Like, I remember that. Like, we ate a lot of Cuban food down there, and it was delicious.
It's got a very strong Cuban population. It definitely does. It's always been that way.
And I didn't realize it, but then the more I thought about it, my Aunt Rosie married a man who was Cuban. I don't know if they got divorced or he passed away. I was young. But she would still go down to Miami to visit his family. I have to ask Cousin Gina about that because she'll know all about it. She took care of Aunt Rosie. But then it clicked too. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy was Cuban and his family was from Miami.
Yes. Yeah.
So funny.
It is. Yeah. And so when Alexia is talking about Marysol's wedding, she's like, she's like had all these like weddings before and she's not been to any one of them. And she's like, and neither has anyone from her family.
Which is odd, right?
It is odd, but then you think about it, like, she doesn't have that many people in her family. Like, she's got her brother, and, like, she has no children of her own. Her parents
I always
have
forget
passed,
that she doesn't have any children.
right?
So I guess maybe it was just she and her brother, and he has a son who was there.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean, maybe her brother isn't in a position to,
Travel like she does.
yeah, like take off to Scotland when she wants to have her third wedding.
Yeah.
That wasn't really a wedding.
Well, it just wasn't a legal wedding.
Right. Right.
Like, all the weddings were weddings, right? So then Alexia's talking about how all the girls know about except for Lisa. She texted her, but, Lisa never gets back to her, and then so she calls her, and it turns out that she's in Canada because her father passed away. I feel bad for Lisa, that
Yeah,
whole
me too.
situation. So then we go, it's the day of the wedding, and we see Marysol. She's getting her makeup done and her hair done. And I have to say, I thought Marysol looked absolutely stunning for her wedding. I loved her dress. I loved her hair. I loved her little veil. I loved her shoes. I loved everything about her wedding look. I really
I
did.
totally agree with you. She was like very 60s, very like Goldie Hawn and laughing.
Yes,
And I loved it.
she looked so. And I was thinking about
Adorable.
that. I was thinking about that with Marysol. As much as I say I don't like her, she actually is one of the few that generally dresses age appropriate. She
Yes.
Her style is, I love her style. I
She's
love her
very
style.
fashionable. Yep. Yep.
And after hearing her talk about why her and Steve are finally, getting married legally,
Yeah.
it kind of made a little bit more sense to me of like why she is the way she is and why she acts the way she does. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna like Marisol this season, and I
Yeah.
think that this may be a reason for it. I don't know.
My biggest problem with Marisol was how she treated Dr. Nicole. And I saw a clip. She was on Betches by Bravo or whatever
Mhm.
that. Yeah. And he said, "Do you feel a loss without Dr. Nicole on the show?" And she said, "That's a shady question." And he said, "No, it's not. I'm asking you, do you think Dr. Nicole is missed from the cast?" "That's a shady question." "No, it's not. You're making it shady by saying that." She wouldn't answer the question.
So she had some kind of beef with Dr. Nicole for some reason. I don't know what it was.
I honestly think it had more to do with Alexia. Like she was defending Alexia because something between Nicole and Alexia.
I
But
mean, she's a ride or die, so
exactly.
that could be the case. That could be
Yeah.
the case.
How about no helmets when they were on the motorcycle? Florida
Yeah,
really is like the Wild Wild West, isn't it?
I guess it really is. It
Anything
really is.
goes, man. Motorcycle, no helmet, drinking a beer
Yeah,
with your gun in your pocket.
you just go do you in Florida. Ain't
You
no one
do
stopping
you,
you,
man.
right?
Yeah. It must be very liberating to live down there. God bless you, Florida.
Yeah, right. Except you know what? It's a little crazy though, because I mean, every time I go to Florida, even Miami or the west coast of Florida, my God, there's like the worst drivers in Florida. It's
Worse than Jersey?
yes, yes, yes.
I gotta tell you, I might have to start taking a different route to work. I cannot stand driving. All right, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it.
Okay, we'll skip this. Yeah. All right. So go back to Steve and Marisol. I thought it was interesting how they met. So she was over at that house that he lives in, hanging out with her friends, swimming. She must have left her bathing suit at the pool house there, and she gets a call from her friend that the new owner said that her bathing suit was there. So she texted him and is like, when can you come? Can you come on Friday night? And she shows up and she never left. Like, do you think that's real? Or do you think she made that up? You think
Think
she
that
knew
there's
he was
probably
buying it?
the truth is probably in there somewhere. This might be like the Hollywood version of it. But listen, I love it. I think it's a great story.
Yeah, because she was there swimming when he came to look at the house because the house was for
Right.
sale. So
I mean,
he
how quick
saw,
was that purchase?
yeah, right. He saw her, she saw him. Let me leave my bathing suit in the pool house. I don't know, but I was here for it. I
Me
like it. I
too.
like it. I
It's
like
a
it.
cute story, so let her go with it.
Marisol also said that there's a lot of money on the line between the two of us. So, and he's got children. So I guess
Right.
she wanted to, make sure that they were covered, which there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, and she's got nobody to take care of her or something. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't
Right.
have children.
I worry about
So
people like that. I worry about
I do
people like that.
too. So maybe, obviously she has her brother and his son. Hopefully
Right.
they would step up. But now, she's hopefully got his sons as well.
Yeah. So she's got her person and it's
Right.
legal.
Right.
So she says that she's the happiest that she's ever been. And I love that. It
Me
looks
too.
like it is. Like she really looks like she's genuinely happy.
Yes, for sure.
Then we see Adriana's meeting up with Julia at the Love Cafe. As soon as Julia gets there, she's like, "You didn't call me." And Adriana's like, "Well, you could have called also." Oh, she's like, "Oh, God." Then Adriana admits that she's disappointed and upset that she found out about the babies the same time everybody else did, because she thought that she was closer with Julia and she thought that she should have. And listen, if they were closer, I think that she should have told her
I
before she,
totally agree. Last season, she would have told her first,
yeah. I
right?
mean, yeah, they were besties, I thought.
Yeah. She was at the farm. Adriana was at the farm. They were having that party at,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that there was a shift. I think that Julia started hanging with Marysol and Alexia, and Adriana feels a certain way about it.
Yes. And Adriana even says that she thinks she's closer with Alexia and Marysol. Like, she admits that that may be part of the reason. But then she asks her if she can throw her a boy baby shower, which Julia says yes. I think that's nice, but I
Do
don't
we
know
know
that
how
it's.
old the boys are? Are
Yeah,
they
we do.
babies?
No, I mean, one is, I think, a year and a half and the other one is 3.
Okay, but they are kind
They're
of still
still
babies.
young.
Like, there's
Yeah.
still things that you can get for at a shower other than just clothes for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, yeah. I just think the word shower is a little weird. That's all.
I'm a one shower person.
Me too. Me too.
You
I
get
only ever had.
pregnant for your
Yeah.
first baby, you
Right.
have a shower,
Right.
you're done.
Right.
There
I
are
know.
families,
I know. They call these sprinkles. They do these other things. Yeah. No. No.
a
I
shower for
agree.
every pregnancy.
Yes. Oh, and especially if there's a change in sex,
Of
then oh
course.
gosh, then you need. Yeah.
Or a big gap in between.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No.
Listen, you have a kid, people come, they give you presents. One time.
That's it. Just one
One
time.
time.
That's it. I agree. I feel the same
I'm
way.
glad we agree on that.
I feel the
I
same
think
way.
we're in the minority, though.
I think we are too. I think we are too. I
Well,
think
we're
that,
going
yeah.
to find out in the comment section.
Oh, we sure will. They'll let us know. They'll let us know. Julia's telling Adriana about how she's not that close with Guerdy anymore. And, we'll let that be right now. And then we see
Yeah.
Guerdy and Kiki are at the stretch lab.
Did you ever go to one of those?
I didn't, but I want to go. There's one in Howell.
There's one in Seagirt.
There's one in Seagirt.
Eileen used to go.
Yep. I know it would be so beneficial, but it is expensive.
Is it?
Yeah, it's expensive. It's even more expensive, I think, than the massage. So I just go and get massages.
I think I'd take a massage over that.
Well, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're at the stretch lab. They're, Gertie's, she's saying she's trying to feel better before she decides whether or not she's going to have the surgery. Because at this point, she still hasn't completely decided. And they're catching up. And Guerdy says, Alexia has been really good. She's checked on me this whole time, to see how I'm doing. And Kiki is telling her the problems that the ladies are having with her. Now,
Guerdy clearly didn't know that they all went out for
right,
John to celebrate Johnny,
right.
Alexia's friend. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't feel good about that whole scene, to be honest with you. I didn't feel good that it
With
was
Guerdy,
Kiki. I didn't feel good that it was Kiki bringing it to Guerdy. I didn't feel good that's how Gertie's finding out. And I just
I
thought,
don't
what were you going to say?
I don't think Kiki communicated it well. Like Kiki said that you weren't invited and the girls think you're too much.
Right.
Did they say that?
I know.
I don't think Kiki communicated the way the girls are feeling about Guerdy to Guerdy very well.
And did they say that when they were there?
No, I don't remember them saying that. So if anybody out there heard it, let us know.
I don't
remember.
either.
I just remember Alexia saying there were 2 people not invited, Guerdy and Adriana. I'm not really sure why Guerdy wasn't invited. Obviously, Adriana's not going to be invited because they're trying to ice her out because Marysol and her don't get along.
Right.
It's very clear.
I mean,
But
the only thing I can gather is that they're drinking the Julia Kool-Aid and not even getting
yes,
Gertie's side of the story. And
that's what I think it is.
I feel like Kiki was doing the same thing. Like,
Yes.
and I don't know. I did not like that way that whole thing went down. And honestly, I feel bad for Guerdy. I really do. I mean, this woman is fighting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
She's got 2 children. She's trying to live her life. And you're saying that she's too much? I mean,
And Guerdy's, like, obviously, we don't know her personally, but just knowing her from the show, she's always had a very big personality. She's a
right,
big personality, Guerdy.
right, right,
Yeah, and she's fighting cancer right now. You're coming to her with this bullshit, Julia, after your wife just went through this, but then we learn how Julia was through Martina's treatment.
right. So
So
then
it is kind of on brand.
yeah, yeah. So then Gertie starts telling Kiki her version. I got a call from Julia the morning. Oh my God, I need your help. Can you please come? She's like, she was distraught. She needed emotional support. Now, when she's telling us this story, we don't know the whole story, but I'm still like, oh my God. Like, she's like, Julia's saying, Gertie says, what Julia is saying ain't what it ain't. So she's not saying what Julia's saying, but what she's saying is, you don't know the whole story. And even then, she's still not saying it. She's saying, when Gertie went there, she felt like, she was a seat filler. And Kiki's like, well, maybe tone it down a bit. But at that point, we still don't even know the whole story. Like, we don't know the whole story, right?
Right. And then Kiki tells Gertie that the ladies think she's acting extra.
Right,
Again, we never heard them say that. And Kiki's like, she's not letting me talk. Well, she's defending herself.
right.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I was tired of searching for new pickleball gear that actually is good quality and performs. So I ordered the Volleybird pickleball subscription box from volleybird.shop. Every 8 weeks, I get a box full of high quality curated finds for my sport. Think a cool new top to wear on court, plus unique equipment and wellness goodies. It's like having a shopper who gets my active life and desire for gear that's been curated and tested. I know if there's a 3-pack of pickleballs in there or a new vegan sunscreen, it's going to be decent and work for me. Check it out yourself at volleybird.shop.
Right. So then Julia said, never once did she ask me, how are you doing? And how is Martina doing? And I'm like, she's saying this in her confession. I'm like, but Julia, did you ask her how she was doing? She's going through cancer
Exactly.
herself.
Right.
Are you asking her? Are you asking how Russell and the kids are doing? No.
It's a grasp. Julia's grasping this season. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then she said, Julia said, I see with my 2 eyes how she acted with others. I don't feel comfortable with her. You don't feel comfortable with her? What?
By the way, why are we not seeing these babies? Why are we not seeing these boys?
No, I think she said that she doesn't want them in the public just yet. She wants to, which I think is fine. I mean, they're
Okay. I
adopted,
just was wondering.
She said that
But
in the first episode.
it's very odd that you're on a reality TV show and you clearly have no plans on leaving the reality TV show, and your wife wants to be on the TV show just as much as you do, which is, it's very clear to me that Martina is loving every bit of this. And you choose to adopt 2 little boys that you don't want in the public eye. But your job right now is to be on a reality TV show. It's like Kyle. It's like Kyle Richards. Like, you can't pick and choose what you put on your reality TV show. Well, I
think when
guess they
there's-
are.
I think when there's children involved, you can. I do. I think
It's just
children
an
are,
odd thing to do at this point in your life. They're both older, these women.
well, as Martina said, we're old enough to be grandparents. Like, we could be these
For
children's
sure.
grandparents. And they could. I mean, they're
Yeah.
not lying.
No.
And I will say, I mean, you said that you think Martina clearly wants to be on the show. I think every interaction with her is so awkward. She seems so awkward every time I see her on the show.
I agree, but I think she likes it. I think she's just an awkward person, but I think she likes it.
Mm.
Like when she went at the party, at Lisa's party, where she was like, well, you got to talk to her. You got to talk to her.
Right. I don't know. So then we see Lisa's in Toronto and she's with Jody. Her brother thinks that she should say something at the funeral. She doesn't feel comfortable talking at a funeral. I thought Jody did a great job trying to encourage her,
Yeah.
so she doesn't regret it. She also says once she got to Toronto and she started going through the things with her, I guess with her brother, she started seeing the things that her father had saved, and she never realized like how much her father really loved her. And she feels like she missed out on so many opportunities. But I don't think that that's her fault. I mean, I don't.
She said he was an alcoholic.
Right. Right.
I mean, thankfully they reconciled before he passed. Then because if they hadn't, then I could
Uh,
see her feeling a certain way about it. But
yeah. I mean, I
they
could still
reconciled.
yeah, I agree. I don't think that she needs to harbor that. She
Yeah.
tried. She tried. Then we see Kiki and her daughter Summer, who is adorable.
That girl wanted chocolate ice cream, and you were not about to give her anything else.
Anything but it. And I was there. I was right there with her. I'm like, I would only want chocolate too, Summer. I'm right there with you, girl. I want the
She
same
was
thing.
so damn cute.
She really was so cute. And we get to meet her mom, Kiki's mom. We find out that she brought her over from Haiti because, I guess she didn't really have it great over there. And her father had left, and she doesn't really have a relationship with her father. And, you know, she believes that, and you can see her mother strongly believes that family is family and your father's your father, regardless of what he did. And
Yep.
Kiki's like, he
You still
treated
have to
you.
respect him, she said.
Yep. She's like, Kiki's like, he treated you like crap. And she's like, that is,
He's still your father.
still your father.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So she says how he's coming over from, Haiti and she's making plans to, to pick him up at the airport. And it's been 10 years that she hasn't spoken to him. And then I remember when they brought it up, I remember he kicked her out when she was 15 years
50.
old. And it wasn't even him so much as, it was him, but it was the new wife
Yep.
that didn't want her around because she was modeling and they thought that she was doing porn because she was modeling.
Right. Because she was wearing bikinis or whatever.
Right.
And the stepmother said, I want her out of here. And he was like, you got to go.
I mean, I can't even imagine. Can't imagine. I give Kiki a lot of credit. I give her a lot of credit. I mean, yes, she's seeing what Lisa's going through. She does want her father to get to at least know her children. Shamar is 18. He's never met him. Summer, is only 4. So there's still an opportunity.
Yeah.
I give her a lot of credit
Me
because
too.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
I don't think I could either.
I don't. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah. But obviously that's how she was raised because her mother's saying, he's still
Yep.
your father. You have to respect him.
Yep. Yep. And the interesting thing, bringing it back to Dr. Nicole, Dr. Nicole had all those problems with her father too, right?
Yeah.
And she was trying to make amends. And her mother was kind of saying the same thing. Like,
Yeah, she was.
And, he wound up passing. But
Yeah.
Dr. Nicole, at least she has that at least she was able to, she had tried and they were in a good place when he had passed,
Yeah.
It's interesting that all of this is happening in Miami with these fathers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. With the fathers from other countries.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like, it's just so different than us,
Yeah.
how we grew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're let's face it, if you're our age and you grew up in America, you were very privileged. Our generation, Gen X.
Yes.
I mean, some may not have had as much as others, but come on, we, for the most part, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. For the most part.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm sure, there's
yeah, I mean, there definitely is. I mean, there's a lot of fathers that weren't around. There's a lot of fathers that weren't around.
There were a lot of fathers.
The day of it's the day of Marysol's surprise celebration. And we get to meet Marysol's brother and her nephew are there. Larsa gets there and asks, like, what's going on with you and Todd? And Alexia's, she's like, oh, I had a breakdown the other week when she was having that dinner with Johnny. And she once again says the ball is in his court. And Lars is like, why? What's going on with her? So Kiki shows up. She's wearing white. And then Julia walks in wearing white also. And Larsa is upset that they're wearing white. But when Alexia saw her, when she saw Kiki, she's like, oh, good, you're wearing white. Until Larsa said something. Listen, this is not her wedding day. This is her wedding celebration. This is not her first wedding. Marysol does not care what color you're wearing.
Right.
Am I missing something here? Like, why was that even?
No, Tess has been to a lot of weddings recently, and she won't like. I'll send her dresses. I'll be like, oh my god, isn't that so nice? She's like, it's too close to white. It's like a light blue dress. I'm like, no, it's not. But she's like she's like, I cannot wear anything that resembles white to a wedding. But she's going to a typical wedding,
Right.
So some people take that so seriously, but I agree with you. This wasn't her actual wedding. It was a wedding party in Miami. Like, I feel like white is perfectly fine.
I do
As
too.
long as Marysol didn't mind. Why do Alexia and Larsa give a shit?
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit odd. So then Kiki says, speaking of Guerdy, she feels like Julia is brainwashing you. I'm like, why are you bringing this up now?
Yeah, Kiki's really doing the work this season, huh?
She really is doing the work. Then we see Marysol and Steve and Garrett are on the way in the car to the dinner, and Marysol has the patch on her eye.
Oh my God. I mean, if that's true that listen, I couldn't wear contacts for a month when I had a sty. It was the worst thing. I couldn't wear makeup. But I mean, if she really had a sty, the eye patch was a great idea. I was like, damn, I didn't think of that.
I know. I actually thought of you when she said it was a style. I was like, oh, Kelly could have used the damn eye patch.
Really could have used the eye patch. I'm not a creative person. She clearly is.
And more poor Marysol, when she gets there, she's like, oh my God, I look like a schlub. Like, I thought this was just going to be a dinner. I'm like, first of all, you do not look like a schlub.
I think she was not surprised at all. She knew.
No, I think she was totally surprised.
You
don't
do?
think yeah. Oh, no, she was totally surprised. She was totally surprised.
I don't know.
You're not?
I'm not, but I never do.
I know, and I always do. Marysol says Alexia nailed the guest list. She's really happy that she forgot someone's phone number and her name starts with an A. And of course, she wasn't going to invite her.
No.
Steve's kids are all there, and Marysol says, "Okay, we're going to call me mommy." And his son's like, maybe stepmommy. And then his other said, maybe ma. And she's like, Ma, like that sounds like a hillbilly.
Just call her Marysol.
Yeah, I think Marysol will be fine.
Yeah.
I was surprised how young his sons were, right? His kids seem kind of young, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how old they are, but they do seem kind of young.
Yeah, but he's probably 50. You think he's in his 50s or you think he's older?
I think he's older. I think he's in his 60s.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think he's in his 60s. I mean,
Yeah.
he looks great. I think he looks fabulous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, men can have children older, so I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah, maybe
right?
he just started late.
Yeah. So then the ladies sit down and Guerdy says, I want to hear about Milan. And Larsa says, well, we get there and we're having a conversation about my ex. And she said, what did she say?
She said that she and Lisa were making progress.
Yes.
And then the last night, Jody goes crazy. And then she shows a picture.
Right. So she shows that picture. First of all, I didn't think there was anything wrong with his eyes.
There's nothing wrong with the picture. There's nothing wrong with his eyes.
There was nothing wrong with his eyes. And even before he showed the picture of his eyes, I don't know if you picked up, but Julia's like, what did his eyes look like?
I mean, come on, Julia.
I was like, what?
You're so stupid. You're like the worst actress ever.
Really? I mean.
So clearly the picture had already been circulated to certain people. And then it was known that they were going to bring this up at this party.
So when this picture comes out, right, this is what I have decided has happened. You were right. Last week, Larsa is the one that planted the whole story about the AC.
100%.
Larsa wants to spin this story that Jody does AC. I'm not even going to say the word. I'm not going to say the word.
Because he's not doing it.
He's not doing it. Because that's what kind of shit friend that you are.
Right. Because your boyfriend literally got caught on camera doing it. So there's no disputing that. Nobody had to plant that. Nobody had to plant that. Whoever put it out,
Yeah.
Page 6, whatever, whoever put that out. They dropped that bomb. Not any of your co-stars, whatever. I hate calling these people stars. I was so
disgusted when I saw that. I was just so disgusted.
I actually wrote, it looks like maybe the flash was in his eyes. And then Guerdy said it.
Right.
But it wasn't even it wasn't like this. They weren't enlarged, his eyes. He didn't even look surprised.
I mean, it's not like they were Ramona crazy eyes. Like there was nothing about his eyes that I would say, all right, his eyes looked open. There was nothing.
No, this is a witch hunt. This is a witch hunt.
I mean, Alexia's like, oh, maybe, or there's some medical condition, like maybe something with his thyroid. I'm like, no,
it doesn't even, because they're not bulging.
No.
And then Lisa brings up that she's worried about him wanting Lisa's money. And then they flash to the car, but it seemed to me like the questions he was asking was more out of concern. Like, did you send that email? Because, sometimes I tell you to wait because I wish somebody would tell me to wait to send some emails and text messages.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I told you, I mean, I don't know if you heard that episode of the podcast where she was talking about her new company, Splitwell.
Right. I haven't, but you told me about
But
it.
he's working with her on that.
Yeah,
So
so that's
it was
probably
about
what
the
it was
business.
about.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They're in business together. They're in business together. He's like an IT guy, I think. I think he's into like IT. So if they're in business together and they're talking about business, of course,
Yeah, Lars is grasping here.
I think he's controlling her. She'll never take a business call without him on the phone. What?
Yeah, like if they're in business together, then that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And then Gertie's like, well, what happened? Like, did you come home on the same flight? And she's like, no, I left. And then Julie's like, well, did you invite her tonight? And then we find out that, they find out that she's in Toronto, that her father passed.
Right. At least Alexia and Guerdy were, I felt like they were sticking up for Lisa.
I did too. And as a matter of fact, I think even towards the end or at some point, Alexia's like, I didn't like that Larsa was doing that with Lisa not even being here. Like, why was she saying that?
Right.
And she's right. She shouldn't have been.
Larsa's a mess.
Yeah.
She's
And
just a mess.
did Larsa even know that Lisa was in Toronto? Like, does she even know that her father passed? Probably not.
I don't think she'd care. I don't think she'd care. I think she would have had the same conversation had she known. And then what was up with Julia and Marysol's husband, Steve?
Well,
Like
I
how
don't think
extra she was with him.
Well, I think, this happened just before the whole kind of craziness. I
Yeah.
think she was really,
Intoxicated?
really, really intoxicated or possibly even on something, to be quite honest
I agree
with
with you.
Because her everything that she was doing was so overreacting. Everything.
So talk about extra.
Everything
she
was
way extra.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Steve.
I totally agree.
So they all congratulate Marysol, and Guerdy says, Julia has a problem with me. And Alexia and the lady say, I think you should talk to her about it. And that's when Julia's over there being extra with Steve. And so Kiki calls Julia over and says, I think you two should really talk. And Guerdy says, well, do you want to have like an individual or with the group? And Julia starts yelling, hey, you're producing. You're not producing. I was like, what is she talking? I honestly had to like rewind it 3 times. I was like, what is she talking about?
Absolutely.
I'm like,
I couldn't understand a word she was saying.
I'm like, what are you talking? She's not producing. She's just saying, do you want to have this conversation in private, the two of
Right.
us, or do you want this to be a group conversation? That's all.
Right. It was a totally perfectly fine question to ask.
I felt like everyone at the table, their face was reacting like I was reacting. Like, what is going on? Then Guerdy says to her, how many of those have you had? She's drunk. We're not going to have this conversation. You're screaming like a hyena.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Julia even gets louder. Oh, yeah, I am a hyena. I have a farm. And then Guerdy's like, well, you've been talking shit behind my back all summer.
This is almost a year from the cruise.
10 months, right?
Yeah.
10 months, she says.
Yeah.
10 months. Guerdy gets up and says goodbye to Steve. She's like, Julia's yelling, you were in my suite, in my jacuzzi, talking badly about Alexia and about the group. I'm a hyena. And Guerdy says, go sit down. You're disgusting. Marysol says, can you please just sit down? And Guerdy says, she spent all summer talking to everyone but me. What was she talking about? She was talking bad about her.
And this is off camera.
Right.
This is when they weren't even filming.
They were not filming. And it doesn't, honestly, none of it makes sense to me. It is so over the top. None of it makes sense to me.
Well, it does if she was trying to get in with Alexia and Marysol. Not that they have a problem with Guerdy, but if Guerdy was close with Julia and Adriana, they don't like Adriana. So if Julia's like giving them like dirt, like we went on this cruise, we did this, and Alexia and Marysol, they're like, oh, tell us more. So maybe that was like her in to get in with them.
I don't know.
I know it's a reach, but
I know. So Julia stands up and she's like, well, why would I talk to you? You're so self-centered. I took you on a boat. Guerdy said, you asked me to go on the boat. Marysol said, what boat? Like Marysol has no idea. So apparently no one was telling Marysol about this whole story, right?
Right.
Guerdy said, sit your ass down, girl, bye. And then Guerdy says, we were all invited on this cruise. And this is where we find out there were 3 itineraries. She chose itinerary 1. Her and Russell went. They had a great time. They show a picture of her and Russell. She got home. Her and Russell got home. She's unpacking her bags. Julia calls her up, hysterical. I need you to come with me. She's like, I didn't even unpack my bags yet. Like,
So Martina couldn't go because of a health situation. So instead of staying home and taking care of your wife, you were panicking that you didn't have a +1 to go on the trip with. You call Guerdy. She agrees to go.
yep.
And now you're twisting it and making her look like a villain over it.
Yep.
Is
And
that
then
right?
yeah. And even Gertie's like, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, she's hysterical. She's like, what's wrong with Martina? Like, she's like, I will tell you when we get on the ship. She's not even telling her what's wrong with Martina. And that's when Gertie's like, manipulator. I say, okay, I'm going to go. Like, I'm going to go. So Gertie says to Julia, be quiet. And Julia says, don't tell me to be quiet. And then she throws her drink twice. Like, she didn't get it all out. So she throws her drink, winds up getting Kiki.
Right. And
Are you
Kiki's telling Guerdy to that
Again,
she should leave. Why
yeah.
should Guerdy leave? She's not being physical. She's not throwing a drink on anybody. Somebody
No.
should tell Julia to leave.
Yes.
Somebody should have gotten Julia out of there. She was highly intoxicated or under the influence of something.
Yeah. Julia stands up and says, you're a liar. Martina had a cancer situation. And meanwhile, Steve's at the bar and it's like, they're going to kick us out of here. Like, everyone is looking. I mean, they are acting like lunatics in this place.
And if your wife had a scare with her health, stay the hell home with her.
Right.
Do you know that Jen Fessler was on that cruise?
I heard today she was on the cruise with Gertie and
Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, we need some deets on that, Jen Fessler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Julia was out of control. And to me, she looks like the bad guy here.
Yeah. I mean, Marysol, Larsa, and Alexia are all sitting there and they're like, I don't like this. Like, what's going like they have no idea what's going on. And honestly, us as the viewers really have no idea what's going on either. Just
No
that
clue.
Julia is acting like a lunatic and Gertie is trying to tell her side of the story. So Gertie says, don't pull me. I'm not that person. Because Kiki was like trying to like get her to go. And she's like, I'm not that person. Like, no, I'm not going to throw anything. I'm going to get my side out here.
Right.
Julia's like, she wanted to be there because Captain Sandy was there. And Gertie's like, I already saw her the night before. And then you show a picture of her with Captain Sandy. Like, I don't really think Gertie gives a shit about Captain Sandy, to be quite honest with you. I mean, nothing against Captain Sandy.
No, but are we trying to make it like Captain Sandy's a bigger star than Gertie and Gertie needs to be like starstruck over her? No. I mean, quite honestly, if it were Captain Lee, I would think so.
Nah. I don't know. I mean, maybe Captain Jason.
Oh.
Okay.
He's so fine.
He is. So then Gertie's like saying this is low class, the lowest of low class. This is all because of Martina. So now I'm starting to think, Julia said, don't you get involved in my family, right? And then Gertie throws out, oh, just like you had a facelift when Martina was in New York having chemo.
Right.
Gertie said, you waited almost a year to have this conversation. Julie said, I didn't wait. I didn't want to have anything to do with you. And then Kiki keeps telling her to leave. This is what I think, and I could be totally off, but I think Julia and Martina were fighting and having problems.
I do too.
And she didn't want to show up without Martina. So she's going to say it's a cancer scare. And because the babies come, right? The two babies come. They're in two different countries when the babies come. They already told us that. One is in Prague and one is in, I don't know where the hell they were, German. I don't know. But they were in two different countries when they found out that they were getting the babies. I think that they were having problems.
I totally agree.
I think that they had a fight that morning.
I think that Julia has let the fame go to her head and she's accusing Gertie of it. I don't think Julia wanted to sit this cruise out. I think she's the one that wanted the publicity, the paparazzi, all the things. But she's saying Gertie did.
Yeah, and Gertie didn't need to. She had already done the one before.
Exactly.
She wanted to be home with her husband and her sons.
2 kids and a husband.
I don't know. I this whole scene, it just kind of blew me away. It really did.
I don't know how somebody can look at this and not think Julia's the bad guy.
No. And I'm surprised she didn't put something up on social media like she did the week before.
Well, probably because everybody laughed it off and we're like too little, too late.
Or
like,
maybe
you
her
still
publicist,
look like a jerk.
Maybe she has a publicist. Maybe her publicist reached out to her and said, "Do nothing."
Right.
And she actually listened.
Right. Right.
Kiki is saying to Guerdy, they want us to leave, and, she's not leaving. So then Kiki says, listen, she goes over and says goodbye to Steve, and she says to Marysol, you know what, I came in here dry and I'm leaving here all wet. In her confessional, she does say that if someone throws a drink at me, I say my point and I leave. Okay, that's what you do. I
That's what
I
you
don't think
do.
I don't think what Guerdy did was wrong. I think her staying was absolutely fine. I think that she was not the one acting like the lunatic,
Wait,
and
why should she leave?
yeah.
If they're going to ask anyone to leave, and they didn't ask anyone to leave, but they should have asked Julia to leave because that's getting physical, throwing a drink on someone.
Right.
That's
Right.
getting physical. She didn't put her
Yes.
hands on her, no, but
No.
and if she had, they both would have been or she would have been suspended from the show, same thing like Danielle and Jennifer Aiden.
Right. Right.
But throwing a drink on someone isn't that far off.
No. No. So then Larsa's like, listen, we're not going to fix this problem tonight, but I want to say something. We're here for Marysol. So Marysol's like, haha.
Thanks.
So then they come out with the cake and the champagne, and they toast to Marysol and Steve, and that's kind of where it ends. But then did you see on Watch What Happens Live, Larsa and Kiki were on?
Honestly, I had to turn it off. I think I dislike Larsa that much. I had to turn it off.
So Larsa's new boyfriend was there. His name is Jeff Kobe. He's a
young NBA player, right?
No. I mean, I don't know if he's young or not. I can't really tell. He's a former NBA player. So how young? I mean, he does look young, but he's a former. He's not currently playing.
But he still plays.
No, he doesn't play.
I mean, he's not playing it, but he was in the NBA. Now he's not.
He was, yes. She says that they've been dating for seven months. Andy asks if you also have sex 5 times a day. And Larsa said, I don't want to answer that, which thank God.
Yeah, because nobody cares.
Andy asks Kiki if it's true about Julia getting a facelift during Martina's chemo, and she said, yes, it's true. Then some of the questions that Andy asked, whose side are you on? 85% of the people were on Guerdy's side.
Who are these 15% that are on Julia's side?
I don't know. Whose side are you on, Larsa or Lisa? 84% were on Lisa's side.
When Larsa was sitting there, huh?
Yep.
Interesting.
Should Lisa have unfollowed Marcus when Larsa asked? 91% said yes. Okay,
Yeah.
who cares?
Did she ask her to, though?
I mean,
or did it just become a thing when she realized it was still going on?
I think
don't
it just
know
became
why.
a thing.
There's no reason for Lisa to follow him. If Jody wants to follow him because they're friends, that's one thing. But Lisa's not friends with him, so just
No.
unfollow him. I do
Right.
agree with that.
I
I
mean,
don't think
she
you end a
did.
friendship over it.
She did unfollow him when it became a thing. She's like, yeah.
Like, okay. Do you remember everybody you follow and who they've dated and broken up with?
No, I don't.
Right.
I don't. The next question was, should Juliana have told Adriana the baby news before the group? 89% said yes.
Yeah.
The whole time on Watch What Happens Live, my next notes are Kiki is the voice of reason here, and the looks that she keeps giving Larsa are everything. Like,
Really?
the looks that she was giving Larsa the whole time she was there, I was like, oh, thank goodness.
That's funny.
And when she's talking about, oh God, that's the other thing. When she's talking about Lisa and her dad passing, Larsa's still maintaining that, like, Lisa should have not been there.
What,
And
the
she's
fashion show?
Yeah, and she's still maintaining that, that her family's everything, and she would walk to Chicago, for her family. And I'm just like, you can't judge other people's relationships with their family. Like, you just can't do that. And then someone in the audience, I didn't write it down, asked her kind of the same question, and she kept saying the same thing. She kept saying that what Lisa, like, she still has it out for Lisa. And this was just
very bizarre.
It's very bizarre. It is very bizarre.
They think it makes good TV, but it's just making you look like an asshole. And she just tries to talk like Kim Kardashian. I really think she purposefully, I'm not even drinking tonight.
I think you had it purposefully. I think that was it.
Tries to sound like Kim Kardashian when she talks. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
I don't know. The whole time I was watching it, I just couldn't stop looking at her thinking she is everything about her is so fake looking. Her boobs are ridiculous.
Her face up.
Her face, her boobs, they're just ridiculous.
Ass.
It's whatever.
Yeah, she jacked herself up.
Andy also asked, like, if she thought that, like, they would get married, her and this And she's like, maybe. And he didn't say no. And he looks honestly just like Marcus.
Does he really?
He really does.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this guy up.
Yeah, the beard and yeah, he looks like him. Yeah. And oh, Andy says, you obviously have a type. And Lars is like, good looking. He goes, well, yeah. And basketball players. And
Right, obviously.
she's like,
I mean, she said it. She's like, I'm in the NBA world. Like, she's said it.
yeah.
So she can't deny it. She said it herself.
She can deny it because that's what she does. She just spews lies.
She is kind of like Teresa.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either.
I'm not a fan. And I'll be honest with you. I'm sure you did listen to Dolores and Tamara talking about this episode.
I just started it, so I'm not all the way through it.
So Tamara's friends with Larsa. Dolores is like, Larsa up, especially talking about the family. And you don't tell other people how to do family. And Tamara's friends with Larsa. Tamara texts Larsa. Tamara called Larsa, and she admits that.
Is she defending her? Because nothing bothers me more than when Teddy and Tamara are friends with somebody and they're defending them. And I will say this about Dolores, because sometimes she really bothers the shit out of me. But when Tamara brought up the video of Teresa, when Teresa shut it down on that, shut off on the news station, Dolores was defending Teresa, but not as bad as I thought she would have.
Well, listen, we both said this too. That was a shitty question. I mean, that guy was an asshole.
But did you hear what Tamara said? Tamara said this guy's known to do that.
I did hear Tamara say that, but who says that? I mean, is he known to do that?
She talked to somebody, one of the producers, I guess, her old producer, Dave Quinn. She loves to, say how I'm going to talk to Andy later today. Nobody gives a shit, Tamara. But she did say that somebody told her that news anchor is known to do stuff like that. So somebody should have prepped Teresa and warned Teresa. But if she really fired all her people, there was nobody to warn her and tell her.
Well, how can she pay her people? She's not getting paid herself.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Oh, it's a catch-22 with that thing. Yeah. But anyway, was Tamara defending Larsa?
Yeah, she was kind of. She wasn't. And she even said, listen to the whole episode, but I like that Dolores didn't back down. And I was thinking about it today because I've been listening to them a lot lately. I think Dolores is getting better at doing the podcast because before she was over talking Tamara a lot. I mean,
yeah,
she still does a little bit, but again, that's a Jersey thing because we do it to each other too.
Totally.
Sometimes.
Totally. She was bad with it for a while.
Yeah, I think she's gotten better, and she says like she loves doing it. Like she's said on this podcast that she's like now she knows all now she's a fan. Like she wasn't a fan of all these shows before because she wasn't watching them, and I think it's kind of funny that like the reality star is now the fan. Like, and it's true. Like
and she's good at it. She is good at it. Sometimes when she's defending,
I know. Listen,
and
we don't
going
have to
on
agree
Kim D's podcast, Dolores, get your shit together and do not stoop to that level again. Do not go back on Kim D's podcast, and don't you dare let Frank Catania either. Let the bottom feeders, Jacqueline Larita, and go on it. Not you. You're too good for that, Dolores.
Okay, I want you to put that clip up there. I want you to put that clip up there, and you got to tag her.
Yeah, we're tagging her. Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it with the Kim D.
Okay.
Bottom feeder.
And we love you, Dolores. We do.
Yeah, we love you. We love you. You're too good for that. And so is Frank Catania.
We love Frank too. Okay, I think that's it for Miami. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe. Bye.
Bye.